I'm Thomas Fox, and this is Lindsay O'Brien.
Yeah, I think we're at about episode 6.
Right, we're getting up there.
So thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yes, indeed, and each week we try to do something a little bit different. Obviously, each topic we pick, and this week we kind of we're taking a look at some it's kind of conflicting news. People are, the economy hasn't been great. People have been deleveraging. They really just want nothing to do with debt. They have no appetite for it. However, we're starting to see credit card debt increase.
Right, and even we have some differing opinions on it, so this should be pretty interesting.
It is. There are a lot of things, obviously, that will play into how comfortable we are in our country.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we've lost a lot of wealth. Our houses, there's a lot of people that are underwater in their homes right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously worth far less than what they own. And large levels of debt, as we got into the recession, those people that had large amounts of credit card debt, they got trapped, especially when they started, making the double pay, the minimum payments higher. So there's just a lot that really just shook a lot of people. So it's interesting when right now they say, there's a report that came out and said 2/3 of Americans say that the financial crisis has fundamentally changed their view of debt, and saying that in the future that they'd be less likely to borrow, but in turn that means they're going to be less likely to spend.
I can agree with you there. People have been kind of hoarders. I mean, if you think about your own personal behavior, you're probably a little more sensitive not only to the spending, but to the amount of liquidity that you can actually hold on to.
And for the people in the cheap seats, liquidity is?
What you can actually spend. So that money, that anything that's coming in, paycheck, tips, any kind of wages, most people are just, I even personally just talking to them are literally socking them, well, not literally in a mattress, but physical, they're holding on to more and more physical cash.
No, indeed. I know people are very much, what stands to reason with some of the information we've been seeing is some people are really scrutinizing their purchases. They're really taking that opportunity to say, you know what, I would really like to have this, but do I absolutely need it? Whereas, we had the freewheeling, days of the last decade where, when you wanted something, they had TVs coming out every other week.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy HD TV, and now you can get on the internet TV, and they were 27-inch, 50-inch, 400-inch. People want, and they got what they wanted. They did home refinancing and things like that, but credit dried up. Home value obviously took a plunge, and now we're in this new era of really, is it, the arguments back and forth, is it forced frugality, or are people really just trying to really get a handle on things?
Well, regardless of the motivation, I think it's important that there are some positive things happening. More and more people are paying attention to their statements. Whether it be cell phone bills or cable bills, that choice to unplug or disconnect, is that the term? What's the term for cutting wires?
Basically disconnecting those things that they're not
so
use them.
So you have more and more people, ditching their cable bill and picking up a service like Netflix, because or just finding content online rather than through traditional media services.
Although Netflix has been doing themselves a huge disservice as of late. Yes.
So it's not just the big purchases; it's those subscription based. People are reevaluating their gym memberships. Are they might be downsizing, or they're taking stock in what they actually use versus what they pay for.
Well, that's why we, from the credit counseling arena, we really want people to make budgets and track their spending, because it's not usually the big items that throw us off, but it's the little ones. You get the coffee here and this and that, and next thing you know, between breakfast, lunch, and a snack, you're spending $17 a day just running around town, going to work, getting lunch, and things like that over the course of a year. It's a couple $1,000.
Right.
But you just don't notice it. So you're right, absolutely right. People are paying more attention. What's interesting is, this report that came out, one of the things that I found interesting, he said, in 2009, 28% of Americans said that their income did not cover their spending, but now only 13% of Americans said that their spending exceeds their earnings, which I think is a very positive move. That's tremendous, that movement right there, the 15% that have changed and said, you know what, I'm actually staying within my realm. But that 13% is still having problems. There's still 45% of them say that they can't manage. It's excessive in relation to their income.
Right, and that's still I know that 13% is still problematic, but whether it's behavioral or that financial markets in general are starting to look a little better. The volatility, there's no arguing that, the market, there's no predicting what the market's going to do from week to week, so that's going to adversely affect consumer sentiment and confidence. But companies are still in business. You know, people are still finding jobs. I know it's still a little tough, and it's not, you know, it's not circa 2002 or, you know, even 2007 before this big drop, but there is money that's starting to circulate again.
Well, it's also, you know, we have to look at what really the workforce or what business is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
There was a recent report that actually said that our country needs 40% more college graduates than we have right now.
Right.
Because the jobs that are out there, they're not the jobs for the jobs that are out there are we are in a knowledge-based economy.
Right.
You know, you have to be able to manage yourself. You have to be able to think on your feet, and you have to be able to accept responsibility for your actions. Those jobs are typically best managed by those who are very intuitive or have a college education. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of fact. When they're saying that there's not all these jobs, there are jobs available, but they're for those knowledge jobs. And if you're not prepared for those jobs, you know, you're not going to get them. And on top of that, only 20% of the jobs in the country are actually advertised through classifieds and things like that. You know, so you have the whole subculture of LinkedIn, and now the Ladders recently changed their website. They used to be the 100K plus jobs for 100K people. They dropped their minimum down to $40,000 as of the other day.
Oh,
so now anybody can go to the Ladders and look for employment. So they're trying to build these niche sites out a little bit more, but the problem is still there. Businesses have money. They're not really investing because they don't have what they need. They need some surety. We need some surety with the tax code, and we're not going to get into that aspect.
Right.
But they need some understanding. They also need the right workforce. So yes, there's millions of people unemployed right now, but if those jobs, I mean, we have dropout rates in our local area here in Western Mass. I've seen dropout reports of 40% and above for some high schools. I mean, that's a tragedy.
Right.
Those people are essentially, they're going to be a drag on the economy, not a positive force of the economy, and that's local economy. And these are challenges that we have to deal with here and now, which I'm glad there's a lot of these nonprofit agencies out there that offer mentorship programs, and you know, there's the Dropout Prevention Task Force. I know there's one in Chicopee. I know Springfield has a few initiatives. So these are all things that we can all do kind of in a sense together to make sure our future economy is good by empowering the kids that we have here now and working with them, but also trying to deal with the very big issues that people are having. You know, another aspect of this report is you know, well, from a different report rather, is we have credit card debt that we said earlier is on the uptick. People are saying they don't want to spend money, but they're almost in a position where they have no choice but to use credit.
And I think a part of that too, I read something recently that called credit the new fiat currency. So what I mean by that is that people they're not even thinking about it, they're using credit cards to do their day-to-day spending. And a piece of that, I think, or I believe, is a behavioral part of it. You know, you're working so hard to pile up this amount of cash, and you know, there's that feeling of loss or that worry that something perilous could happen again if you start to dip into it and spend a little bit. But it's easier to spend what you almost don't see. So a credit card allows you to do that. And if you're using it for those, you know, those cups of coffee and that little stuff that's going to add up, it's easier to make a $35 credit card payment every month on those little things in the grocery shopping, the things that you need week to week, than to dip into your stash.
No, indeed, but the larger issue of debt in this country right now are people that are forced. Yeah. Not that, hey, I'm going to put, you know, Google Wallet just came out the other day, and you're going to be able to just swipe your phone and everything's going to be
Close proximity stuff is cool.
Definitely that, you know, that's good stuff for people, I mean, technology-wise, and that will play an issue into spending in the future. But the challenge that we have right now are people have no choice but to use their credit cards. Otherwise, they're not going to put food on the table. And we already have, you know, there was other reports about the increase in foreclosures, and you know, Bank of America is laying off 30,000 jobs. This one's like, so we have a lot. We have basically a long road to go. At least, I guess, the takeaway from this week's episode is, you know, despite what's going on in the country, people are getting back into a more comfortable arena. But we're still at this standstill between business and consumers, and what we need overall is we need confidence to come back.
Well, you can't see pent-up demand, and I think that's where a lot of businesses get held up in investment in capital and time and money, is because they can't see. They can hear a news article or, you know, see local demographic changes, but you can't see demand. You can't see what, you know, that people are going to spend in the future.
Yeah, until people are really comfortable, you know, it's going to be very hard to see just what their appetite would be. Right. You know, I'm still haven't gone out and got myself a tablet yet. I'm still working off a laptop, and you know, who knows what to say see
Yep.
the economy's rolling again, and I'm comfortable with going out and purchasing things that I want, who knows, how buck wild I'll go.
Well, I think a big takeaway, another, one of those final wrap-up kind of takeaways from this episode is don't lose sight of the fundamentals. So, because times were tough and you were basically forced to be frugal, don't lose what those times have taught. So just because the economy seems like it's easing a little bit, or you might have gotten a raise at your job or found new work, don't forget about checking, don't forget to check those interest rates on those credit cards. Think before, you're making that minimum payment. Still stress budgeting, that your spending behavior, if you will. And watch where those fees are coming up. Just because you can stop every morning at Dunkin' Donuts to pick up a coffee doesn't mean that you should, and that you should, think about those habits that you did develop when times were a little tougher, and brewing at home, that sense of frugality, because that's where you start to build real wealth, and keep building those piles, I guess.
Indeed.
Even though holding physical capital is never a recommendation, don't do that.
Now you get to spend physical capital.
Don't hold cash. Mattresses are a bad savings place.
But you
I
get
don't
better.
care how fireproof your safe is. It's not a good place for it.
All right. Listen, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next week.